Welcome to all our friends. I am pleased to welcome and introduce to you Mr. Praveer Sinha, who is joint Tata Power CEO and MD. Just a quick introduction. Mr. Sinha is not new to Tata Power. He's been with the company from 2007. Prior to this, he was the CEO and Managing Director of Tata Power Dairy Distribution, as many of you would already know. Mr. Sinha he graduated in electrical engineering from Punjab Engineering College and also a master's in law from National Law School, Bangalore. And he has over 3 decades of experience. And before joining Tata Power in 2007, he was the CEO of Nagarjuna Power. I welcome Mr. Sinha to this call. This is the second day of at work, and request him to kind of say a few words as opening remarks, and then we would move on to the Q&A. So over to you, Mr. Sinha.
Thank you, Ramesh, and good evening to all of you, all the analysts, investors, and other stakeholders who are in the earnings call for Q4 FY18 and the FY18 results. Normally, for the analyst meet, we take stock of the performance of the whole year and share our thoughts on the outlook of the sector. And typically, we do it as a part of the analyst meet. But since I have taken the new role just yesterday, I thought that we will focus on the results in this call, and we'll have the analyst meet little later next few weeks. Some of the things that I would like to share with you as part of the Q4 results and also as part of the FY18 results. The 5 things that I look at it is that how we have done the year. And we find that this year our underlying consolidated EBITDA has crossed for the first time 10,000 crores. We have also been able to have our underlying PAT growth of 30%. And all our operating plants, including the regulated and the unregulated, have been performing very well. We did have a loss in Mundra, but that has been more than compensated by the upside that we got from the coal mine. And we hope that over the period of time, we'll get a solution to this challenge. We have also been looking at what are the new business value chains, especially in the renewable business space, where we have grown in last 1 year. Our returns have improved, and our EBITDA has also improved in the renewable business, as well as consolidation has taken place as WREL has now become a part of JPREL. We have also taken steps to improve our balance sheet and reduce our debt, and to that extent, we have started work on monetizing the non-core assets. We've already taken action on sale of some of our non-core businesses, especially the strategic electronics division, the defense business, which has been handed over to another Tata Group company. We have also divested our stakes in Tata Communication and Samsung. And all these will help us in consolidating our balance sheet, which will give us an opportunity for growth in future. So these were some of my initial remarks, and we'll go through the other details as we move through this.
Yeah. Okay. Can we have the questions, please?
Sure, sir. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone phone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Bhavin Mithlani from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, gentlemen, and congratulations to Mr. Sinha for his new role. My question pertains to the deleveraging mode. This quarter we observed that Tata Projects has also been classified as held for sale. So could you give us some color on the timeline of this investment and what could be the realization that we could expect out of it? That's one. Second, what would be the update on the Arutmin realization? Last quarter we had mentioned about 100 million odd has been realized till date. So if you could give a status update on this. And third, if you could give us a color on the extraordinaries during the quarter in terms of the one-offs at the Mundra and the others. If you could give us rationale of these one-offs in the quarter. So these would be my questions.
Yeah, thank you. So the answer to your first question on Tata Project is that, as the accounting requirement requires that if there is an intent to sell an investment, then and there are some initial actions taken, then it has to be classified. Yes, we are going to kind of in the process to move towards that. I don't think we can fix the timeline. More the valuation, of course, valuation is a forward-looking information that we can't give, so that goes through a process by itself. And therefore, I would only say that we would probably look at it in the not so very distant future, but timelines we cannot exactly specify. But the fact that we have declared the intent to sell is, I think, the first step towards materializing that sale of non-core assets which we've been always talking about. The second question on Arutmin, you're right, we have received more than 100 million already, and it is trickling in as I think we have mentioned in the past calls about the also the restructuring of our buyer of these shares to whom we have sold, and therefore there are constraints. But there is a payment plan, and although it has not been adhered to exactly as per the timelines, there is still a commitment and a will to fulfill that. We are hoping that in this year and the next, we will be able to substantially move forward on this. On CGPL, your question was on probably the one-off item. I think that's what you were referring to. Let me try and explain this in as simple words, just because it's a little accounting complication involved here. Basically, every year the accounting standards require you to review the recoverability of the investments in the balance sheet. And as part of this exercise, once in a year, we look at all the assets, not just CGPL. And this year, the impact is higher when it comes to standalone, because the recoverable value has been reviewed. This review has happened more in light of the emerging view on long-term power prices. The advent of renewables has significantly mellowed down the expectations of major hike in electricity prices in the future. And as you know, the CGPL PPA is for 25 years, but the asset life is expected to be beyond that. And although we have a hedge, which is in the nature of the coal mine investment, the coal mine investment may not be exactly matching with the exact life of the asset. Therefore, it has to go back to the energy prices. And therefore, as every year we do this review, and this year we have significantly reduced our expectation of the energy prices in the very long run. That has impacted the recoverable value, and as a result, as far as the Tata Power standalone is concerned, where the investment is lying, there is an impact of about 3,500 crores. And in the standalone, in the consolidated picture, since all the other losses have already been booked in, the test is the recoverable value is tested against the asset value, and therefore there is a 300 odd crore impact. So, and the third related change is that the CGPL and coal mines are looked together. They were made together, invested together. There is an intrinsic link between coal prices, because one goes down and the other goes up. That you know very well. So as a result, the EPC, which you recall 3 years ago we had made a provision, but that was in the light of falling coal prices. And we normally wait for a consistent trend to appear. And the consistent trend of the last 2 years, 1.5 years in fact, has been coal prices have been going up. And as a result, that impairment provision now results in actually a reversal. And therefore, there is almost 2,200 crore of flux on KTC mine. That's how the 2,200 and the 300 net off to bring about 1,900 in fact the reversal in the consolidated. I hope without confusing you further, I've explained the accounting.
Sure.
But
also,
more details we can of course the offline.
Sure. Also, what would be the reason for impairment in Georgia?
So in Georgia, as you're aware, Georgia project essentially supplies power to Turkey. And as per the accounting standards, you have to review the recoverability there also. And two things have happened. The Georgian project has also undergone a slight delay in the project implementation due to issues with the tunnels there due to geological reasons. And that is being reworked. As a result, the cost is likely to move up. And on the other hand, the Turkish market, which is what it is based on, has shown as of now, it looks like a deficit market for some more time. So keeping the current assumptions in the view, as per the accounting standards, we have to make the assumptions and provide for it. If we recover the investment better than this in future, it will be reversed. But as of now, this is the same.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking my questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish Shah from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. So firstly on Mundra, so just wanted to understand the impairment that we have taken in standalone. Is it fair to assume that of the 5,500 crore of debt which the standalone has given to Mundra, we have written off around 3,500 crore?
Well, I see whether you invest as a debt or equity, it is part of the carrying value of the investment in India. And you are right. In that sense, whether you allocate towards equity or debt, it is part of the total bucket.
Okay. And is that the reason why it does not get reflected in the consolidated? Because, that's the type of investment that we have done from standalone into Mundra?
The reason, so the reason why it doesn't get reflected in the console is that the treatment, the reason why you see two different calculations are done for console and standalone. And since, in the console, you already have booked the losses in the last 5 years. Okay? Effectively, you're taking care of the net worth. Effectively. So what remains is only any residual impact, which is the 300 odd crores we are providing. Whereas in standalone, the recoverability is tested against all the investment which you make totally, including loans. So these two are separate calculations which you make.
Yeah, makes sense. Got it.
Yeah.
Sir, secondly on Georgia, if you could just help me understand the model itself, because I understand that, there have been some cost overrun and the Turkish market, the price have come down, but do we have a fixed price model for the power or do we have a fixed ROE model? What's the revenue model for Georgia?
Oh, it's totally market. As you know, Turkish markets are market driven. They have their market mechanism. There is no regulated tariff as such. Okay. So therefore, this is free market with merchant.
Okay. And any fluctuation if the price comes or if the price goes up, then we would write back this.
Correct. Correct. We are also approaching the lenders and the government for support for restructuring because it's an extraordinary situation in terms of the market economy, which was unexpected. So therefore, all the stakeholders are working on this. And if we get a better solution out, I'm sure the provision may see a reversal in future.
Okay, sir. Sir, and on coal assets, sir, this time we have seen the production decline. So if you could throw some light over there. It's 12.8 million ton this time versus 14.3 last year.
So one is there are rains in Indonesia. One reason, is that generally the offtake was less. Okay. So that is the only main reason. No other reason. The second reason is normally there's a allotment or annual quantity allotment that is done for all coal companies. And if they are already achieved in the first 3 quarters significantly, the fourth quarter is the residual amount. So it's a combination of both.
Sir, if I'm not wrong, is the allotment around 60 million ton that is done to us, or is it lower?
I think it is lower. Remember, it is 55 or 56. I don't recall the exact number.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Puri from Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, sir. So two things. First, from the results, there has been a significant increase in the cash holding, and I see similar reduction in receivables as well as in the current liability. So which businesses are contributing for this improvement? That is one. And secondly, we have announced two large business sale already, the non-core asset sale. So what is the utilization of those proceeds? Is it going completely into deleveraging, or do we have any other growth investments lined up as well?
So, Abhishek, the second question I'll take first. The second question is that we will not, of course, be keeping cash idle. It will be utilized soon. Mostly, our plan now revolves around getting the balance sheet back in health. So, a large amount of these proceeds, including the current cash, will go to reduce the debt levels. And as we get good growth opportunities, we may put some of this money back into growth as well. So that's a calibrated approach we will use in the coming months and medium term. What was your first question? I think there was around cash.
Cash and reduction in receivables.
Yeah. Okay. Reduction in receivable. I think the one good thing is that the receivables level in the renewable business has come down. I don't know the extent of it come down. Second is, as you know, that SCD, the defense business has been now classified as held for sale. So as a result, all the balance sheet items also go away. So a significant amount of receivables which are pertaining to the defense business is also now out of the balance sheet. That actually is a significant. We can give you the number separately.
Okay. And lastly on this, the impairment that we have done, you said that the coal assets and the power assets have a different tenure, and which is why this adjustment has been done. Was this not accounted for earlier? I was just trying to assess that.
So, Abhishek, I think I should have clarified that. So that is not the reason why it is happening. I just said that's the reason why these calculations have to be done, and that was always done. Okay, there was always a known mismatch, etc. The reason today you see a number which is coming up is more because of the revision in the recoverable value of the asset, which essentially is driven by the future cash flows, which in turn is driven by the revenue estimate that you make for the future tariff. And that we have significantly paired now in view of the latest actions that we've done in Germany.
Okay. So I'll join back in the queue for further questions, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Modi from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So just a couple of questions. Firstly, so what is the status on the resolution of Mundra now? So that is one. And secondly, sir, are we looking to invest in stressed assets, not on the platform of with ICICI, but through Resurgent, but on your own as Tata Power?
Well, the Resurgent platform has a certain allotted, let's say, target. Therefore, once we cross that, we are free to do whatever we want to do in terms of taking our own call on which assets we can chase. So that's open to us. But till the time the target amount which is cost us is exhausted, we will invest it through the platform. The answer to your first question on Mundra, from the last call, I don't think there's been any substantial progress, except that we are still trying hard to work with the stakeholders to find a viable solution. But given it's a complex issue, I don't think there's any progress to be reported.
Sure. So, just a couple of more quick questions. So, there was some one-offs of around 239 crores during the quarter. So, what was this pertaining to?
This pertaining to a couple of items, there were provisions on certain old consumables and certain expenses on land acquisitions which were no longer now fructifying. Then there was Docomo, last year you remember we made a provision and there were some residual amounts left which now that the final transaction is over, those were also kind of taken into account and there were provisions relating to estimates in the revenues of our overseas projects. And also we have also now written off project development expenses in Vietnam, which we do practically every year. So those are the one-offs which have hit the 239 crores.
Right. And sir, in the Tata Com deal, when do you expect that to completely conclude in terms of payments being made?
As you know, the agreement has been concluded and we'll be going to the shareholders, and once the shareholder approval is there, then the transaction will be then concluded.
So 3 months, 6 months, just
less than that.
Okay. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sumit Kishore from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My first question is in relation to the Arutmin stake sale proceeds. On the last call, you had mentioned that Tata Power has received $30 million cash in lieu of the Arutmin stake sale. Overall, $100 million of receivables had been secured from the buyer, but only cash received had been recognized in the balance sheet. So has the situation changed? Because you again mentioned that $100 million plus has been received.
No, so there's no situation. The only thing is that 100 has moved up, inched up to some 115 or so, but your cash component remains. So the rest is also a adjustment of loans which were to be written back. So therefore, nothing changed really from that, except that we received some more cash.
Okay, so now the cash which has been received and recognized on the balance sheet is probably $45 million, roughly.
Correct.
Okay. So basically, even in receivables, we're not seeing the $115 million. It's basically the cash which has been recognized on the balance sheet.
Yes.
Yeah. The second question is in relation to the increase in operating income for the Tata Power standalone business, where you have mentioned that due to positive tariff order in Jojobera, there was a 136 crore positive impact. So is this a recurring, event going forward, or is this for prior period?
Yeah, it includes some past recurring, but it's a recurring thing. Once the tariff order comes, then the principal gets set and you get the revenues.
Okay, so basically, this is a recurring item. What was the prior period element in this?
Can you, I'll ask Ajay to contact you and give you that data.
Sure. And on the, for the Indonesian coal mines, there was a change in Indo coal pricing rules for locally supplied coal. We understand that this has been, probably impacted your results for part of the quarter. So could you please, shed some light on what the impact was during the quarter and going forward? How is it going to impact the mix of coal you sell and the possible impact on your realizations at KPC?
Yeah, so while there is a government order to that effect, I think there's still a discussion going on how it will be implemented and whether there will be a tweak in the law. We are yet to see the full impact because this means that, the PLN related quota has to be worked out. And right now, in this quarter at least, there's no significant impact because of that. Still, the alignment to the new law is yet to happen on the ground.
Okay. And finally, my last question is in relation to renewables. So over the past year or so, we have not really seen Tata Power emerge as a winner in the solar or wind auctions. And the prices have now settled to, a certain level in wind and solar. So how do you view, your participation and the kind of assumptions that are going into, both these categories? Are you comfortable with them, or is the market being very aggressive?
Well, while there have been some signs of market becoming more and more rational, but there is a lot of bids are not actually happening. They are getting cancelled due to the duty-related issues and uncertainty. I think once the bids start to happen, I'm sure that we will wherever it makes sense for us to meet our expected returns, we will definitely step in. And I think we have carefully avoided where we felt we shouldn't really tread. So, and remember that we have always said that we want to get our balance sheet in order. So both the things are happening simultaneously. And I think we will, in the analyst meet which I was referring to, I think we will throw some light on how we want to take it forward.
Sure. Thanks, Ramesh, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavin Vipsani from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity again. From the standalone balance sheet, what is the debt that is being attributable to the consolidated entities, which means the debt from the standalone to either CGPL or the renewable entities, and what is the interest cost attributable on that debt?
Well, to give you a rough number, we have put about 4,000 crores as part of the acquisition debt, for the renewables,
Sure.
and about 6,000 crores as part of the loss funding for CGPL. So about 10,000 crores could be attributable in the standalone to be funding the consolidated entity. The rest of the debt is lying in the respective areas. So this will be the excess and go over that there on the standalone. So you can attribute a cost, more of a cost.
And what is the interest income that is being accounted in the standalone entity for this debt, so that it helps us in knocking off consolidation?
We aren't receiving any interest because the instruments are not carrying any coupon. So it's effectively for all practical purposes as on lending.
Okay. And would it be fair to assume that with the sale proceeds of 4,500 odd crores, this is the debt which actually goes out or gets repaid first, and consequently the savings in the interest cost adds to the earnings directly, because for the others, being a regulated business, payment of debt gets adjusted in the tariff.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking my questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pulkit Patni from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot for taking my question. So my first question is, after these write-offs and write-backs that you've been doing for some time, can you tell me what is the investment outstanding for both CGPL and for the coal assets as of March end?
Give it separately.
Sure, I'll take it from Kasturi and Ajay. So my second question is on the renewable portfolio. As I look through your PLF for the wind business, it's come down from 24.2% to 19.5% in FY18. Anything particular to read into it? What do you think is driving this decline in PLF?
I think there's been a general across the board reduction in wind PLF.
Especially in the second half of the year.
Like the first quarter was very good, and then the second quarter was slightly wet. The last two quarters were not good at all. It's a weather issue. It isn't really attributable to any controllable factors, if that is what the question was. It's more to do with the wind patterns.
Understood, sir. And so my last question, I think somebody asked that question, but I don't think it was answered, which is, what is the exact status of the resolution of the Mundra power plant right now?
If you ask for an exact status is that the last thing that has happened is Supreme Court has turned down, as you know, and after that, there's been no formal legal action. There's been lot of discussions on alternatives, but nothing nothing much has really crystallized. So there are very early stages of discussion at various levels with the government, both at the central and the state, and nothing really has concretely come up as yet. And therefore, if you ask any concrete action, there isn't anything to report. We're trying so many things. Nothing really has kind of to a stage where we can say that, okay, this is now the path forward.
Understood, sir. And sir, any movement in terms of refinancing of the debt at CGPL, anything on that front?
Yeah, so that is in our radar. We are working out some options, and soon enough you will hear something.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from IDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
There are a couple of questions. So first on the renewables, is all the asset which, I'll just rephrase, is there any project, is there any megawatt which is under construction right now, or is it safe to assume that everything has been, operational right now? And what is the outlook for the, the asset to be demerged? Is there a timeline which you can assign to?
Around 100 megawatt is still under construction.
100 megawatt?
Yeah.
Okay. When is it likely to get commissioned?
Maybe in next 3 to 6 months.
And what is the status of, the merger of, the merging of the standalone business asset to the Tata Power Renewables?
So it is now in NCLT, and hearings have commenced. We expect an order in due course.
So there was second question pertains to Delhi Discom. So there was a Delhi Discom order which came in at the fag end of March. Is there any impact the same on this on the quarterly result?
No, I don't think there's an immediate impact in this quarter.
So there is no write down on any regulatory asset?
No, not due to the order.
The Tata Power, there is a YOY decline in the profit. So what is the reason which you can attribute it to?
Here there was a regulatory order which was at work, and we are contesting it. So till we, that case gets finalized, we have to provide for it, and we have provided. It's about 19 crores which we provided in the Q3.
Okay. Got it, sir. The last question, sir, is there a target for coal production and coal sale from KPC for FY19 which you can provide?
So we generally, first of all, don't provide any forward-looking numbers, but just wanted to tell you that it is just not a plan that works in these mines. It is also what the government gives you as an approved plan, maximum amount to be sold. So and within that, you have to see what you can do. So this mine generally hovers around 50 to 60 million tons as the approved number for the production. So it depends. We can't give you the exact number as we have planned, but generally there is an allotment up to which you can go.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anirudh Gangahar from Nomura Securities. Please go ahead.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. My first question is on CGPL. Just curious to know that our realizations are down quarter on quarter despite much higher availability. And the related question is that we did see some cost savings on the fuel sourcing in the third quarter. It doesn't seem to be there in the fourth quarter. So if you can just help understand that why has the EBITDA loss increased so drastically in the fourth quarter, even though our availability has been much better. And as per CRC norms, the tariff reduction should have been pretty minuscule quarter on quarter. Thank you. That's my first question.
Simple answer, Anirudh, is coal price. Last quarter, we had about 73 paise of fuel energy under recovery, which is now shot up to over 86 paise in this quarter. So it's simply the factor of coal price.
And sir, on the realization dropping from 2.7 to 2.6, is that also attributable to, that cannot be the coal factor?
No. So the realization is, as you know, it depends on the CRC notification. The CRC notification, there is a de-escalation. And that is a 6-monthly cycle. And you will see that reversing in the next 6 months. So it's a pattern that emerges based on the previous 6 months. The revenue side we don't control. It just goes as per the CRC.
All right, sir. Second question, is there any update on the Russian coal mine? Last call it was mentioned that we are still, the plans are being prepared. Has anything happened after that?
Not really. In the sense, yes, there is work going on developing the business plan and also working on the enhancing of it. There's been progress, but I would say that we have not reached any particular milestone yet, but work is in progress.
Right. And the third question from my side would be, if I look at your associate income, the EBITDA up for Kinergy and for the Zambia and the South African projects still seem to be okay. On the net level, there seems to be again a loss. Is that purely on account of currency, or is there some year-end adjustments that have happened there?
No, it's all currency.
All currency. All right.
There is currency in the South African investment. We also have what we call it as the shareholding related. We have some minority interest there, which keeps, the MTM keeps changing. So that's the other non-cash element that is there apart from currency.
Right. Thank you. I'll go back into the queue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhargav Buddhade from Ambit Capital. Please go ahead.
So my first question is, is my understanding correct that the money which is received from this restructuring of assets will go on to repay the non-regulated debt, and to that extent, whatever the debt reduces, correspondingly the interest cost will come down and accordingly the PBT will increase.
Yeah, you are right in principle. There could be timing issues when the money comes in, which loan is repaid at that time. There is also requirement for growth. How much goes out of growth? If nothing goes to growth due to any reason, then you will have a good saving. Partially goes towards growth, then that much will be reduced. Overall, it will be an improvement in ratios anyway.
Okay. So assuming nothing of this goes into growth capital, essentially the reduction in debt leads to reduction in interest and accordingly that much PBT increases, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Second, sir, in case of the defense business, we've assumed a higher value in the presentation in terms of expectations of sales proceeds. But I think there's a precondition to that receipt of higher value. So what is the probability that we can assign to the higher realization from the defense business?
Well, in the transaction has happened just recently, at the time of transaction, unless there is a probability attached to it, you would have not put that number there. So right now it is absolutely as high as it can be. And I think with this we'll have to review maybe a year down the line to see whether there's any change. Right now, the valuation is based on the expected turnout of the revenue and the order flow, and that's how the valuations have been done on how the cash flow is coming. So right now, we are on track. Teams are chasing the number which we have taken into the assumption.
So we can assume about 2,300 crore, right?
Yeah, in the long run, yes, but there are milestones to be achieved to get that. So those milestones, I think, now it's too early to review. Maybe 6 months or 1 year down the line, we'll have to see what's the probability. That's the question to ask.
Okay. So thirdly, in terms of tax implications, is it possible to know what could be the tax implication on the sale of these non-core assets? Meaning how big
So as per the accounting standards, there is a tax, deferred tax asset that has to be recognized, and you have to recognize it. We have recognized it. The amount of tax that has been recognized is also there somewhere in the published accounts and the notes. 338 crores is the deferred tax asset that has been created. That is through the P&L, and in the case of CTSL, we have put as a asset held for sale, 370, which is appearing as a comprehensive income. So these are the two tax impacts of the assets held for sale.
Okay.
And it is positive. Still zero.
Sorry, come again, sir. I missed the last part.
In terms of it's a deferred tax asset recognized.
Okay, it's a deferred tax asset. So we have to receive some money. We don't have to pay any money.
Naturally, because when you actually sell it, then the tax liability will come. This will get adjusted against that.
Okay. And sir, a lot of renewable companies are sort of likely to come for IPO. We know that Semcorp has already filed a DRHP, possibly Renew will also file a DRHP. So maybe 15 months down the line, 18 months down the line, do we also look at a possibility of our renewable business being IPO'd?
But 15 months down the line, what view will take, I think we can't.
Meaning, is there a thought process?
No, I'm just saying. So, options are always open, but at this point in time, there is no such plan at this moment.
And so is there any capacity also commissioned in this quarter in renewables? Because there is an addition in depreciation and interest, which I see on a Q1Q basis.
In this quarter, there is no new capacity added.
Okay.
But,
okay, thank you.
Some of the assets which are done in the earlier quarters, they are still going through stabilization period as we speak.
And so last question, as an analyst, how much interest rate can we assume on that reduction of debt? Is it safe to say 10% could be the interest rate on that debt which you'll pay down from the sale of non-core assets?
In the standalone, the parent company, our average rate is around 8.5.
Around 8.5. Okay. Fair enough, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Jain from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Hi. First thing is, how much is the dividend we have received from our coal SPVs in FY18?
So, during the year, we seem to have received about 135 million.
Sorry?
135 million.
135 million. Right. And second is on strategies, on a capital allocation, what is your view over the next few years? Where is Tata Power going to invest money? If I look back in the last couple of years, our focus has been more on unlocking the non-core assets, unlocking value from the non-core assets and deleveraging. Is that going to be the same theme over the next few years, or how Tata Power will evolve over a couple of years, or we are not clear as of now? Any thought on that?
Yeah, I think, as Mr. Sinha in the opening remarks said, very soon we are going to be meeting all of you physically, and happy to share at that time what our thinking is on the plan as we go ahead. So if you could just hold that question, it will be useful to discuss at that point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhruv Muchhal from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Hi, thank you. So just following up on Sanjay's question earlier. So if we see our underlying PAT is about 1,300-1,400 crores, and the PAT from JV companies, particularly the coal companies, is almost equivalent to that size. So large part of our cash profit or the cash PAT is generated from our coal companies. So is there an understanding with our coal companies how do they distribute this cash in terms of what proportion do they receive every year? Because this forms a significant portion of our cash flows now.
Yeah, so I would call this more a hedge, not as an isolated investment, because it's just the reverse of what happens with EPS. But to answer your question, we have a very tight cash distribution arrangement in these coal companies. So, as you know, these coal companies are not heavily capitalized, and those have a large depreciation. The cash flow is immediately distributed. time period could depend on all the statutory reasons, but they get fully distributed and there is a very tight arrangement. So in that sense, there is a good control over the flow of cash and the timing as well.
Sure. So is it fair to assume, because a lot of cash flow management happens through this, is it fair to assume about 80% to 90% of the PAT which will be generated there will be distributed?
Oh, yes. For the arrangement, almost all the cash actually is swept out and distributed to shareholders. That's given. But you know that we are having, at the holding company in Mauritius, we do have loans which we service. So therefore, not all may be reflected and flowed back into India. But we do get all the dividends. It's swept out.
Sure, sir.
Some minor capex, etc. they need.
Sure, sir. Sure. And sir, just to follow up another question earlier, on Tata Communications, if you can give us the exact amount, after tax, what is the net amount which will be received?
Around 2,000 crores.
Net of tax?
Yeah. I think it's about 2,100 crores.
Okay. And sir, lastly, on Georgia, when should we expect the commissioning now, or is the project on hold?
So right now, it's difficult to give an exact timeline. Right now, the team is working on fixing the plan for restoration. Somewhere in the middle of next year is the tentative plan.
So if I can add, we are working on the inspection.
Sorry, sir, middle of next year.
I mean, that's as of now. It will be finalized in the coming month. Exact date, but roughly it is around somewhere in the middle. Same time next year or around that.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, we would like to remind participants that you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ashish Shah from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
So thanks a lot for taking the question again. Sir, on renewable, if I look at the Valvan, this is the first full year when we have reported the Valvan numbers. And if I look at the unit generated, they imply a PLF of around 16%. And this is largely a solar capacity. So is this the PLF that we should look forward to from this project?
By the way, Valvan doesn't have only solar, it also has wind.
Yeah, sir, it's like 1 gigawatt it's just 146 megawatt of wind, so it's largely the 95% is wind, so, sorry, solar.
So we have solar average. Okay, I don't know where you pick that number.
Sir, if you look at the units generated of 1688 unit, then, and only 1688 unit for FY18, which is there in the presentation, and just do some back calculation, we get a PLF of 16% for solar.
So, clearly, Ashish, you may have to check your back-end calculation. For us, the PLF would be much higher. It was probably 18%. But we can check 19.07 is the average solar. Average PLF is about 19%. So where you are, where is the difference coming, I think you'll have to check.
Okay, I think I'll follow up separately on that. Sir, and if you could help me with the total units generated, total renewable units generated, including standalone, Valvan as well as TPREL.
Ajay Bhai will give you separately, but if you add up the 3 slides which have been circulated, you will get it. Yeah.
Sir, we don't have TPREL, that's the problem.
Oh, TPREL you have. TPREL, there is a MU is there. Is there? You got MU. Okay, full year is 820 MU. Around 3,100 to 3,100. And, 3,100. Just add those 3, you'll get it. It is about 3,000. It's there in the presentation.
Okay, I'll take it offline. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Apurva Bahadur from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my question. Sir, I wanted to know why the profitability of solar manufacturing business has declined YOY in Q4.
So this is purely a function of orders. As you know, the new bids have marginally declined, and that has a direct impact on new projects being signed. Although we are very competitive, I think it's just a function of the market and the amount of bids that people win. only then the order gets generated for Tata Power Solar.
Okay, so we book profitability once the order gets generated or on execution?
And by the way, if you are looking at quarter or you're looking at full year, because full year profitability is higher by about 27 crores.
No, looking at quarter, sir.
Now the quarter is timing one. Last year we had a buffer for quarter four, a lot of projects ended in quarter four. Therefore the recognition is different. But in terms of overall year on year, there's been a good progress. There's actually been an increase. You see last year's profit was 78 crores and this year has been 100.
Right. Fine, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anirudh Gangahar from Nomura Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity again. One question was that in KPC we've reversed some impairment. How much, if you could remind us, was the original value and how much have we reversed already? And because if coal prices remain higher for longer, then this could be coming back to the original value. Is that the right understanding? And second question was on solar manufacturing itself, that given the uncertainty on the safeguard duties and the tariffs, how is our order book looking, or is there any outlook for the next financial year in terms of revenues?
So, the KPC, we had reversed, we have made an earlier impairment of 2,900 crores and now it's about 2,200 crores less CGPL 300, so that's how the 1,900 crores comes. So 2,200 is really the KPC part. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so impairment was 2,900, we've reversed 2,200 out of that. Right. And any color, sir, on the solar order book, solar manufacturing order book revenue?
Solar order book right now they are sitting on approximately 300 megawatt of orders. And yes, I think there is a good hope that if the safeguard duty issue gets resolved, then we might see some order flow coming back.
Right.
And that is under the work. Government is trying to resolve that issue. I think a lot of people are not bidding today because of that uncertainty.
Right. Thank you for the answer, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Girish Achhipalia from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Girish?
Girish, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with your questions.
Yeah, sorry, I was... thanks for the opportunity. On the CGPL interest reduction, sir, if it happens through the year, your estimate is that there could be a 50 bips kind of rate reduction potential that can happen, or it could be more than that as well?
It's very difficult to say this because we haven't yet tested the ground. But you can say that that would be a minimum number.
Okay. So secondly, just a question on receivables from the renewable business. Currently, the run rate is at how many days? And if you have that number as of last year, how much have you really seen in terms of number of days reduce?
It's hovering between 2 months and 3 months.
Now, currently.
Sometimes it's closer, but it has been significantly improved in the last 1 year compared to last year because of many states beginning to pay in time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, we would like to remind participants that you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Bhavin Vithlani from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity again. My question is more on the outlook for renewables. If you could give us a view that given the way the tariffs are in the current competitive bidding, do you believe these tariffs are viable where it kind of makes the cut or the threshold of your IRRs for new investment, and you have been holding back investment just for the deleveraging, and we can expect restart of the investment cycle in the renewable, or is that the underlying tariffs, in your opinion, are not viable, and hence there is a pause in the investments in renewable from your side?
There are signs of people becoming looking better, but I think it's yet to be seen fully because some of the bids we have recently seen, there are very few bidders, and because of the safeguard duty issue. So I would say that we are company, we are watching it very closely, and we will not miss the opportunity if we happen to see bids in the range we want to look into. Secondly, as per your question on whether we are more worried to fix the balance sheet fees or will actively participate, I think we will do both and in a calibrated manner. We will pace ourselves first to focus more on balance sheet correction, but if we get a good opportunity, we won't let it. We'll keep our foot in the door. That's the way I would.
So, as you mentioned about the safeguard duty, which I understand is more on the solar side rather than wind. So, is it are we inclined more on the solar side as against the wind side? Would that be a fair assumption?
I would say that yes, broadly yes.
And the reason of that, if you could help us.
We've been taking that view for quite some time. In our earlier calls, we believe the volatility in wind is more. So, in terms of capital allocation, we would be more inclined towards solar. That doesn't mean that we will not look at wind, but our wind would be slightly more not so lenient, and we'll be cautious.
So I'm sorry to dwell this again. So, is this that the more to do with the viability of the solar, which you believe is higher as against wind?
Yeah, actually, volatility means that you have a much less risk factor attached, and that's how we differentiate the two.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you for taking my questions.
Thank you. That was the last question in queue. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Praveer Sinha for closing comments.
So, I would like to once again thank all the participants for the call today evening for understanding the performance of the company. As you would have seen that it has been our constant endeavor to improve the disclosure and share the performance in a much better manner to all the investors. While we have tried to explain all the results as far as possible, we would request you to connect with our team members, Kasturi and Ajay, if there are any follow-up questions or clarifications. I would also take the opportunity to share with you that we will have the annual analyst meet in the next few weeks, and I look forward to interacting with all of you personally and sharing our future vision. So thank you once again on behalf of Tata Power, and we look forward to the next week.
Thank you.